Hello and welcome back to the Tom's Garage. Today we're going to be taking a look at my own 2004 Lexus SC430, so stay tuned for this video. So anybody who may not be aware, Lexus's first convertible hardtop was Lexus SC430, and Lexus is a relatively new brand within the luxury car market. BMW, Mercedes and Audi have been out for decades. Well, I guess Lexus has been now, but it's about I think 1989, 1990s where Lexus began, a luxury arm of Division, and it took all the way up to about 2000 model year for this Lexus SC430 to come out. Lexus SC330 and 400 came out in the 90s, and they were just strictly hardtop kind of two-door coupe and known as a Toyota Sora over in Japan. This was also known as a Toyota Sora and became the Lexus later on in Japan, but that's a whole other story. We're going to crack on with this SC. So anybody who doesn't know the famous story about the SC, Lexus designers, or Lexus decided to send their European Western designers to the south of France to live, taking the culture, and that's where the kind of design for the SC came from. It's been said that these headlights are designed like the south of France a sailing yacht. I'll let you decide on that. You can kind of maybe see some of that along this culture here, but everything in this car is really designed for an opulent, wealthy individual. Some people may think straight away that it's just a rip-off of the Mercedes SL, but I've driven both and I would say this is a little bit softer and a little bit of a different machine to the Mercedes SL, but as you'd expect, it's a Lexus version of that kind of concept. So the power comes from a 4.3 litre Lexus Toyota V8 engine, a VVTi, variable valve timing engine, and it produces 300 horsepower, 301 in some other publications I've seen, but we'll say 300 horsepower. Gets it from 0 to 60 in the mid 6 second range. It uses a 5-speed automatic transmission, just because it's not the facelift model. They get the 6 speeds and some other refinements, but we'll stick to my car, that's the unfacelifted model. I've been getting about 24 per gallon since owning it back in March. I'll take a quick look at the side of it. I quite like these dinner plate wheels that a lot of people don't seem to like, but I just think they're quite something different and very unique to a Lexus product. I know they were actually changed again in the facelift, but I quite like how that looks. And this rear proportion I always think is one of my favourites. So sleek and it's very different, and you could almost imagine if you were walking along, this little spoiler here kind of looks like probably off a luxury yacht, a wee jumping board before you jump in the sea. That's kind of my take on it, but what do you guys think? The rear 3/4 angle is kind of one of my favourite again, a lot more sleek than the front. I know it's all very aerodynamic, but I just quite like how this kind of area looks. Kind of flows in, it's very soft and curves round. Apologies for the dirt, I did try and wash the car, but it's very hard to keep a car clean during winter. To start off with the boot, one little negative I would say straight off the bat is there's no way to access the boot from out here. There's nothing to touch, it's all solid, so you either push the button inside the car or the button on the fob. And anybody who's got a Toyota would see that's just like a Toyota switchblade. Open it up and we're greeted with a reasonable boot space. It's not going to win any awards, it's definitely not going to be anything as practical as an SUV, but there's definitely enough room for a golf club set down here. And testament to that is the previous owner has left a little T card in here, which I think is pretty cute, and it's from 2013, so that's pretty awesome. Anybody who follows golf, you can have a look if they've done well or not, but yeah, you can pause it and see has Paul and Al, Keith and Leon done well? I'm not sure. Further testament to the Lexus quality, we've got this little leather handle here, so if you want the boot, maximise the boot space, you lift this up, that clips down and you can clip that into a little clip there, like so, and that maximise your boot space. But to have the roof to fold into the boot, you have to pull that up and click it in place. Did not make that look easy. And with that in place, storage is a bit limited, but at least you know anything in here. You can fit 2 weekend bags and the North Coast 500 in this car and manage to fit everything I needed there. There's a little nice little pull down handle inside there, so you don't have to damage the spoiler lifting it off, and it's relatively lightweight, like so. So jump into the car, and if I unlocked it again, I've got frameless doors, which is almost a must in a car like this, but it's a nice feature. This particular car's got the ecru leather with, I believe it's bird's eye maple wood, and the wood's supplied by Yamaha. And I've always wanted to own a car with a timber steering wheel, don't ask me why, but I think that's a pretty cool feature. Being a Lexus, it's got loads of gadgets, and for 2004, pretty impressive. So at night, you can see here, it lights up green along with the little bit for your seatbelt. Driver's steering wheel comes down towards you to the preset button, and then you've got the door controls on the door there, sorry, for the seat. You can set 1 and 2 for 2 drivers, which is pretty handy. Everything's electric, as you can appreciate. But yeah, pretty awesome. The leather itself held up pretty well, nice soft spongy leather all throughout. I think it's really done well considering it's a 16-year-old car. As you can see, it has been well used, and again, Lexus things just work. This little bit here took me a while to understand what this for. Clip that round and it's to prevent your seatbelt going back, so when you're sitting in and out of the car you can just grab it like so. We'll go to the least practical bit of the car, and everybody's going to comment about the rear seats. There is 2 back there, and notice I went to again for the detail, put seat belts in with the little clips just there. But you're not really realistically going to fit anybody back there. But I think it's handy for A, extra storage, and B, I think it's for insurance purposes, a bit like the Porsche 911 and cars like that. It's cheaper to insure a car with 4 seats than 2. It's good insurance. Had a BMW Z4, and I think that was like £975 to insure, and this is about £435. So there's a big difference in insurance, even though this is a year older than the Z4 I owned, but it's got 2 more cylinders, a litre more capacity, a bit more horsepower, but it's just got the 2 seats, and it seems to be cheaper to insure. So we'll jump into the car. I'll just turn the air off for a second, foot in the brake. The V8 comes to life. We can ignore a little engine warning light, that's just my O2 sensor that I need to get fixed. But if I switch through the trip computer, and we can see we're just over 134,000 miles, which is pretty impressive for a 2-seat convertible, or 4-seat but 2 really, 2-door convertible, just because a lot of people don't tend to do a lot of mileage like that in a car like this. If we touch this info button, we can see I've been getting 26.7 to a gallon, but again I've been doing a lot of motorway drives, about 100 miles a day in this car, and that's roughly why we're getting a bit better MPG than if you drive around town. You're probably going to be getting maybe 17, 18, so mixed driving about 23 realistically. One of my party pieces in the Lexus is the fact that you can touch of a button and get this wood. I know a lot of people either like or don't like that, but I think it kind of hides the edge of the car when that's all away. Sat nav in the car, again, is behind a little bit of wood. It's touchscreen, and I think for 2004, pretty impressive. No mean feat, there's not many cars I would say of this era that had a sat nav as good as that, and it's again touchscreen or touch capacitive before anybody hits in the comments. If you don't like it, hit that away and the more wood disappears, or more wood comes and the screen disappears. Up here we've got your climate controls, so you get your fan speed, dual zone climate control, rear defrost, wing mirror defrost, convertible roof. Put in a wee shot of the roof going down, but you hold that down and I think it's 25 seconds until the roof goes down. Over here, pop that back up, touch this button, and we've got the radio that pops up. We've got little antennae, you can kind of see the collar there. Bit of a 90s throwback, but that's pretty cool, kind of give it a bit of a vibe. Got a cassette deck, and I believe this is the last car, mass produced car to be from manufacturing, to have a tape deck installed in the car. Got a CD player, which is probably cutting edge back in 2000 when this first came out, and a tape deck, which is pretty cool, but they sold this right up till 2010 I believe, so 2010 people still buying tapes. Got a little ashtray with an actual cigarette lighter. More wood again hiding our cup holders. There's a cup holders there. They do hold like a McDonald's cup of tea or something like that, but anything tall, good luck holding that because it'll just fall over. I like the fact that it's a gated shifter. You get this wood on top and it's very soft, it's not brazen or anything, it's not chipped. And all the way down, got a wee kind of aftermarket reverse there, it's beeping. But anyway, leave it in park for a second. If you think some cars of this age, maybe 10-year-olds, ones with the leather knob, they're all worn away or they're shiny, or even worse if it's Alcantara, it'll be worn away. Whereas this is wood and it's just kind of held in place, so you really can't really knock Lexus for doing that. And also think it's quite a nice wee feature because you don't often see that. Again, my timber steering wheel that I've always wanted and managed to get. Really happy with that, and it feels very soft, very different from the leather on the side. Again, all holding up for its age. If I got a quick look at the gauge cluster, as you can see, it revs to about 6,000, but really a big lazy V8, I've not really pushed it above 3,000. Got ambitious top speed there of 180, but it'd probably get to 150, no bother. Fuel gauge goes down pretty quickly. I think you get about 300 miles out of £67 to fill the tank. Right now I've got 215 miles of range left, and we've just got about half a tank, so it's very deceiving, but I think you get about 360 maybe. I got my last one, but yeah, the range changes all the time, seems to use more fuel than the range would suggest. Engine temperature on the right, just let that do its thing. As you can see, you've got your gear selector down there. If I go down to the gears, you can see the colours changing. So that's quite a nice wee indicator. I've got headlight washers out here. We've also got electric wing mirrors on there. And while we're over in this section, this car comes with Mark Levinson sound system as standard. It's a pretty decent system once the radio comes back on. So that's a nice feature. All Lexus SCs in the UK come with the Mark Levinson sound system, so that's pretty decent. Door locks over here, as I mentioned, memory seating. They could have done a little bit more storage in the door panel. It is all softly padded, kind of like a soft plastic padding, and the speaker grill's covered with carpet. But there's not much space for really anything in there. A phone or a wallet at maximum, but that's about it. A little bit of storage underneath here. As you can see, got my masks and phone chargers on there. But yeah, that's lined with the fuzzy stuff, and you've also got a second grill there. A second bit there, which you can keep Tic Tacs, hand gel and sunglasses, what I do anyway. And this little bit of storage there, people might be wondering what that's for. It's actually for CDs, so you can fit CDs pretty decently in there. Wee record collection going on. Glove box, softly damped, filled with all the stuff I need, my logbook, all the previous things from the cars, previous owners. I think there's a bit here that's quite interesting that tells you when the car first came into the UK. So I think this is pretty cool, the livery of the lease note, back from 2004, 24th of March, so that's pretty awesome. Lexus Edgware Road. There's something a bit different. And this shows you kind of the previous owners for this car kit, pretty much everything, and you've got things like that. On the driver's side, again it's all nice materials, leather padded, a little bit of netting there from my water bottles, and again it's all soft touch dash, soft touch everything, really high quality interior. You'd expect that from a car. I think it was just over £50,000 when it was new. Give the car a little bit of a rev. Quite a nice sound from the V8. But when you're on the road, the windows are up, you don't hear much of anything. So on the road, the Lexus SC is pretty comfortable. It's quite nice and soft when you're driving. I quite like the fact that it's just so easy to drive. You just get in and go. Steering's nice and light, suspension's super soft, which might be a negative for some people looking for a sports car, but if you're looking for a daily comfortable car, it's nice and soft and springy. Probably better than some small SUVs even for ride comfort. The powerful V8, if you really want to push it, knock it into kind of the manual mode you can do with the 3 and the 4. Just drop it down, put the foot down, and the engine really springs to life. It's almost a car with two personalities. As I mentioned before, you're not buying this car for a fuel economy, but if you do try and plan your mileage accordingly, because you are going to be getting mid-20s realistically for a big old V8. car with a 5-speed automatic gearbox. Placing the car is pretty easy on the road. You can see the windscreen washers with the 3 jets on each side, and it stretches out pretty far enough. The car's not got front sensors, so parking it's not too bad. It's got rear sensors, but you wouldn't expect that too much from a 2004 car. Wing mirrors are quite comically small in comparison to modern cars, but it's quite cool. They are auto dimmed, and they've got that kind of solar glazing, UV light glazing, which is quite handy, especially if you're not getting dazzled at night. So I just want to say thanks very much for watching this video on the Lexus SC. Hope you guys enjoyed my video on my own Lexus SC. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to Tom's Garage below, comment below if you've got any questions, and I'll see you next video. Ciao!